So 3 startups, 3 founders up on stage. I see the first one right here, and all the ones are here too, I'm sure. Please come up. Could you help me read that? So we can do a circle. Who wants to sit on the couch? I think I'm going to sit over there. So you will sit on the couch? Okay, great. So, thanks for coming by. And of course, I would like to start with a quick round of introductions. If you could state who you are and most importantly, what your product is. Maybe you could start with both from there.
Hi, I'm Jenny Müller. I'm the founder of die frische Manufaktur. And basically, we are making a brand of fresh cut fruits. Some of you may have tasted it in the morning for breakfast. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Georgi, and I'm one of the founders of Solus Mirrors. What we are developing is an intelligent fitness mirror, which helps the user to train and do free weight and own body weight exercises, meaning the mirror shows how to move, what are the mistakes, and so on.
Hello, my name is Judith, and we put headsets inside of earrings.
Cool. So, and another big round of applause, please, for Burda, because I think this is the first panel ever I sat on with more female founders than male founders. This is awesome. This is the first time. So, Jenny, I want to start with you really quick. We were introduced by a mutual friend via email a few weeks ago. I didn't respond instantly. I'm very sorry about that, but we got to email later on. And when I looked at your website, I thought, wow, a food startup, finally, that's so cool. But the margins, why is someone doing the food thing? So what made you do it? I mean, not just a physical product, but why food?
Actually, I was working in the strategy department of Rewe Group, and I was a lot traveling around all over Europe to look at physical supermarkets. And then I had a project, it was about processes in the stores, which Aldi is doing great and Rewe not, and we had to improve it. And then I was standing in front of a bag of waste products, and it was all fruit salad and normal salads, because they last only one day, and if you don't perfectly know how many you will sell and you never know it, you have to throw away a lot of them in the evening. So I said, you have to change this somehow. And then for 4 years I was thinking about it and trying to find solutions how to make fruit salad last longer.
If I may interrupt you, why the fruit salad? I mean, there's a supermarket, there are thousands of products. All of us, we walk through supermarkets every day. Like, why this particular product? And what is there any advice you could give to people, like how to spot these niches?
Yeah, for me there's several reasons. One is I really love fruit salad. The second is I was shocked how much ends up in the waste, and muesli, it lasts quite a long time. If a fruit salad lasts 8 days, it's already really long. And the third thing is, before that, I studied, I did a PhD in marketing, and I was really surprised that there is no brand for fruit salad in Germany.
But just to explain to everybody, so with your technology, the shelf life of this fruit salad is 8 days?
8 to 10 days. We're just trying it out. But this was produced a week ago.
So we can still eat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think many people ate it in the morning. And they're still sitting here.
They're still sitting here, okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, first market test. So, I would say that we're going to talk about complicated technology products in just a second, but this, like our muesli, on first sight, it's a fairly easy product. Would you say that going to market with a food product like that was really fairly easy, or were there lots of challenges you underestimated?
A lot of challenges we underestimated. The really biggest challenge was, because it lasts so long, because we don't have oxygen in the packaging. But for this you need a special machine, and at first we worked with a machine. Well, first challenge was having access to a machine
So
to
you're
try
doing
it
that
out.
yourself. You're the producers.
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
So when we developed the product, the first thing was, where can we get access to this machine? Then we found FH Wein Stefan. They have food technology, and somehow we were allowed to use the machine. And then we find a recipe that works, and fruit salad that stays fresh for 10 days. But the packaging, it looked like minced meat, Hackfleisch. It looked really bad. So we said, okay, no, we can't sell this in this packaging. And then if you have another packaging, you need a different machine. And so we had to get this machine, and we were like really ready and said, okay, we get this machine now, and then we get everything started. And this was in June last year, 2017.
So like 7-8 months before.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was calling and trying to get this machine, and they said, okay, yeah, in 6 weeks you have this machine. And it was from Baden-Württemberg, a German company that leased the machine to us, and it was produced in Italy. And then they called, actually in Italy in August nobody works. So it will take another 4 weeks. I'm like, okay, we have to wait a bit, but then we can really start it. And in the end, I don't know, every 2 weeks, they called us, we are sorry, we still don't have the machine, but in 2 weeks you will have it.
Do you have it now?
Now we have it, but it was mid-November we had the machine. And yeah, it's better to sell fruit salad in the summer than just before Christmas. But the good thing was that we didn't have so many customers because of Christmas, because then we had the machine, but it didn't work.
Then Horowitz would say the hard thing about hard things. So George, I hope your mirrors aren't from Italy then.
No, they are made in Germany.
So you're the reason actually. When I found out about your startup, and some people in the audience might agree, I always feel bad now while doing a workout because I'm like, am I doing it right? Why is the mirror not talking to me? So could you maybe explain to us how does someone, how old are you?
23.
So how does a 23-year-old come up with the idea of changing fitness mirrors? Because it's such a complicated product, I must imagine.
Everything started exactly like 13 months ago. We were four founders. We were taking part in the Think Make Start event. It's organized by TU Munich as well as Unternehmertum. And our initial idea was to create a smart mirror for bathroom. So first of all, we conducted an online survey, and everyone was like, oh, okay, it would be an interactive smart mirror for bathroom. It's a really nice idea. But our mentors there told us, just create a prototype, really some kind of prototype, go outside and ask people what they think about it. We did it. We actually went to the shops. We were kicked out from a couple of shops. And in the end, the people said, it's not gonna work.
Can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people are probably interested, how do you prototype something? Like, who do you call? Do you Google like prototype product or?
No, like we built it with a wooden part, like a small wooden part, and there was a foil on it, and we put some documents, a picture. I think back then there was a small picture of a cat to catch some young people and so on.
So it was already screen-based, or did you just put photographs in it?
Photographs. It was only
Okay.
photographs. Now it was a small wooden part. That's it. It weighed probably 500 grams or something. And this was really nice because we could actually present this small kind of product to the people. And they said it's gonna be complicated to create something like this for bathroom. So we found out that many of them actually told us, why don't you make it for sports? Because I'm training in front of the mirror and I would like to have this kind of feedback during the training. So it was like, okay, this sounds really nice. So we conducted a research, and that's how we started. And then we used all of the resources which is possible to use. We asked people. The first prototype was built within 1,000 euros, and it was huge. It weighed like 100 kilograms, and it was full of metal and display and so on. So we used literally all of the resources.
So then you figured out, okay, it's going to be a technology-based fitness mirror. And it sounds insanely complicated. Like, when will it be available? Do you already know?
In April 2018, we will make product launch on FIBO.
Wow, that's only like 16 to 18 months from the initial idea to, like, how did that go? I mean, like, if I have a technology idea, could you maybe for us go through the steps? Like, how do we approach something like this?
Yeah, first of all, we conducted a research, and our idea was to create a prototype which can be tested in a fitness center as soon as possible. We did it within 3 months, and we did a lot of mistakes because, first of all, the research was not enough. We forgot many interesting points, and actually our concept was changed 5 times in the last months. But in the end, what we found out is the information which you get is most important part of the product, because this is why you have to do questionnaires, present the prototype, and actually test it, because the Solus mirrors has so many different parts, starting with sports science, of course. Obviously, it's a really deep mix of sensors, hardware, and software.
And the team, just you guys, you have a technical background.
Yeah, we were really lucky in this case because we have 2 computer scientists and 1 electrical engineer, and I'm myself from business side, and this helped us a lot, especially like engineer Vladimir was creating the prototype, software engineers were programming, and I was doing the questionnaires, and also like we were supporting each other, which means, for example, like although I had to do questionnaires, I actually did a special course at Makerspace for wood, like to work on the wood.
Awesome.
Because it was necessary, otherwise you can't really build this kind of big product. It's a huge product, and it weighs a lot, so you need manpower, and if you don't have any money, obviously you would have to do something.
You could do like little wooden things for children and sell them at the Christmas market if the idea doesn't work out. Okay, cool. So Judith, your idea also sounds insanely complicated, like from an outsider's perspective, but it's much smaller. But if you could share with us the story of exactly like Georgi did, like how did you come up with the idea, and when will the earrings be available?
Yeah, we're working hard on it as soon as possible. It all started when I was working as a risk management consultant, and risk management consultants, they have to wear their suits every day, and usually the females wear their pearl earrings every day. But we all got headsets from our company, which we never used because they weren't available when you need them. So they were in the bags or somewhere on the way into the train, out of the train. But still, if the customer called, it's usually a very bad sign, so you better take the call. So in that way, the headsets really didn't suit that case. And I, one day at lunchtime at a client, I actually thought, why didn't they just put it into the pearl earrings? I just wear them every day anyway, and wouldn't it be so convenient to just take the call and be able to use your hands for something else? And that's where the idea actually come from. But then I didn't really, it was just an idea, right? So then somebody asked me, is that actually not possible? And that question just stuck in my mind, and like I tried to find the reason why nobody actually did it, and long story short, I couldn't find it. I thought that was a technical problem or maybe legal, patent, whatever. We all tried everything, and then we realized, okay, maybe it will work. And lucky enough, in a startup, we live in a world where there are experts in many things, so you don't need to know everything in the expert way, but if you need an expert, you can also hire them if you need them. But I was lucky enough to find somebody who was able to, extremely nice person if you're watching, thank you. But he was actually, I'm going to build the prototype. I was like,
how did you approach that? Like, also, did you Google like prototype?
Everything. No, I didn't Google prototypes. I was Googling for all the critical components. I was doing other products. I was like
headsets.
This is small enough, and it wasn't necessarily headsets, but like other products that contained the parts that we needed. And I realized, okay, this is probably small enough, and this could do this. And so I took a broad approach of grasping.
Did you look for engineers or Germany or worldwide or?
No, the products I just Googled, but as I can only emphasize how important networks are, you'll find the right people through the network if it's good enough. And that's how I found found that person. Yeah.
So and when do you think the product's gonna be ready?
Yeah, but the problem with the hardware is that it takes incredibly long to produce. So we thought we would have it in our hands on Christmas, and we put it all together, and it didn't work.
So you thought
So, yeah.
so you thought Christmas, it's not going to be
Yeah.
Christmas. As a risk management consultant,
Yeah, I tend
how
to.
would you advise?
Right now, I'm absolutely confident we're gonna make it this year. This year, it's gonna be done. We have all the documents, the part lists, and everything together. We just need to find the right people to produce this incredibly tiny part. It is so tiny. And everybody, when we call the producers, they're like, "Oh, you're crazy." I'm like, yeah, we're gonna make it, but we will make it. This time we will have to get a more specialized one. But yeah,
So launch
we know.
date, when should we go online? If you had to nail a specific date?
Specific date, I would say I feel very safe with September. We are doing, I can recommend it, a pre-sale, which you will
Okay.
get a very good deal.
My
But
birthday is
you'll have
September
to-
1st, so I will wear them on stage if you.
Oh,
I will buy it, I promise.
I'll take your word on that. Yeah.
So I have the same question for the three of you, because obviously, like also with your startup, Jenny, there is technology involved. It's food processing, and if technology wouldn't be there, then the shelf life wouldn't be 8 days. What would you say? How important is technology as opposed to branding? Because you guys have great stories to tell, but obviously there is also a lot of technology involved that the product needs that to succeed. Like, how would you balance that? And any advice, like how to, do the right thing? Like, should I focus on branding? Should I focus on technology? What should I do?
Yeah, that's difficult in a startup. There's so much to do, and you have to do everything. And I don't know, this focusing is a bit difficult. But I think also what you are telling, you just have to be persistent and just say somehow this can be solved. Because in the beginning, I wanted to have this packaging and like the
lid thing, the edge.
The edge of our packaging is really thin, and you need to seal it so that there doesn't come any oxygen back in. And I think it took us 3 months to find somebody who can produce machines that can seal this very thin
lid
edges.
edge. So I get the technology part. Like you guys said, do your research, networks, learn how to do woodwork yourself. But how did you really approach the branding? Like, did you wake up in the night and say frische Manufaktur? That's what it's going to be called.
Yeah, okay. No, the branding, well, I did a PhD in marketing, so I had a very theoretic approach to that.
Did you do a survey as well, like we did, or?
Yeah, we did 2 surveys, and I had a friend who was working in the Marktforschung, market research from Procter and Gamble, and he helped us. And in the end, in the beginning, it was like, okay, we need to find some names, so we started a list. And in the beginning, we were very like, do we really put it on the list, or maybe it's not good enough? And at some point, we had a list of 250 names.
So what was the funniest one?
The funniest name, I think it made it even into the last 7. It was Nimmersatt. Yeah, but people hated it in our survey.
In terms of branding, I think that's quite promising, like you can eat as much as you want, you'll always keep buying. It's like the crystal meth effect.
Yeah. Yeah, so the branding, it was kind of difficult. And then I knew, okay, I had this theory, but I don't know how to make a nice
Frische Manufaktur
logo.
1, so just to clear, Frische Manufaktur 1, you knew it's going to be called Frische Manufaktur, and how did you come up with the logo and everything?
Yeah, this was really, then I was so focusing on the name, and then I was like, okay, now we have the name, and I was really happy, and then I realized, okay, but how do I get a logo now? Because I'm really not good at graphics and things like this. And then I asked somebody who was working for Vitafy, and they have a very nice brand, it's called Wild, and I asked for the graphic designer, and so I got the contact, and we had this funding from Axis Gründerstipendium, and we had 40,000 euro for the whole year. And then the designer offered us to make a logo for 7,000 euros, and I was like, whoa, okay, then like 25% of my budget are gone only for the logo.
So you went on 99 Designs, or what did you do?
I tried that.
It didn't work out? Why?
No, I don't know. It was really not nice what came out. And my sister, she's good at things like this. She was like, you can't take those designs. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? But then I had a birthday party, and I had a friend invited who was mentor of some of the Exist program teams, and he said, why are you only 2 persons? You are allowed to be 3 persons on the team. And I said, okay, maybe that's too late now. And he said, no, you can try to get a 3rd person on the team.
And so you found a graphic designer that joined the
actually,
team?
I just asked the graphic designer who offered me the 7,000 if she would join our team, and she did.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So George, how did that go for you? Like, engineers and branding, does that go together well?
Well, first of all, like our name, we had to decide for the name within these 2 weeks of Think Make Start. So we were brainstorming, there were many ideas, and we came up with Solos. It means like unique. And our logo, like, right in the beginning, first of all, we did it, I don't remember the name, but it was some kind of platform, and it was like we paid €5 or something, and it was bad. So when we decided to continue with, like back then it was
Fiverr maybe, or a lot of people I think start on Fiverr. It's like $5.
Yeah.
All
Exactly.
always look the same because it's always the same.
Actually,
product.
like we told them we want it kind of to be look like a mirror, so the solos should look some kind of mirror, and they did exactly the same what we actually wrote there, like literally. And afterwards, when we continued with the project, it was necessary to make a normal one. And our co-founder, Giorgio, actually his name is also Georgi, he came up with this really nice one. And
like himself? Did he know?
He's really good in those kind of stuff. And also the colors were really nice, black and white. And back then we knew that it would be a premium device. So our target was to make a really serious logo. And afterwards, of course, back then it was only a logo, but when you continue to work on it and you find out all the requirements from your potential customers, it wasn't really necessary to make a new research, because like branding itself, we found out branding is not really a logo or name. Of course, you guys know it. It's more like how do you make your product portfolio, for example. And what we did is we made a huge research of the trendy words used by fitness centers, like what they are focusing on, what kind of language they are using. So in everything, like in the app, in the Solos Mirror interface, also in the product portfolio, we started using those kind of words. So in the end, we created, I think, really nice package, and we will also publish our product portfolio very soon. And I think it's a really nice solution, especially the colors and so on.
So what's the entry price going to be? Like, what's the cheapest mirror?
Yeah, the mirrors will be for the fitness centers. In the beginning, we are going to rent it. It will be like between 250 and 400 euros per month per unit, because it's really, of course, like you have to understand fitness industry. All of the devices are rather rent or leased, because the price itself is high and production costs are also high. So what we will focus on is renting, as well as SAS business models, really app for premium content for the users.
Cool. So Judith, I have tons of respect for, I'm gonna call you a fashion founder, because it's actually a fashion product, because I think branding in that space is so difficult. Like, how did you come up with a cool design, like a cool logo? How did that go?
Yeah, we did also the online freelance thing.
So did you also start with the logo? Lots of people start with the logo. Did you also start with the logo?
We started with the logo, and the logo that came out, I actually really liked it. Then we got help from somebody who has very much knowledge about fashion and logos, and she was like, no, you can't do that. So we decided we're going to rebrand, and we did a lot of research in competitors, and because we want to be recognized as fashion, and we don't want to be confused with Microsoft. So it shouldn't be too much tech, but more fashion-wise. And we tested some, showed them to graphic designers, and that's what you see is the result right now. Yeah, and we're going to run with it. And I hope we can keep it. I hope you guys like it.
And how are you approaching like day-to-day branding business? Do you have someone in the team who's handling it, or like when you have to design a flyer, is that do you do that or?
We have a chief marketing officer, but he's right now he's a bit limited in the time that he can invest, but that's usually his
like working part-time for you guys, and then
that's the person who does it. And we are also looking for interns in that area, but yeah, it's a challenge, especially for me, because with I studied mathematics, so design is like very far away from me.
Okay.
So I'm not the person to do it. Yeah.
So I'm sure we have tons of questions from the audience, but if I may, just one quick round, financing, because maybe you guys also have like a 20 to 30 second insight on financing. How did you approach it, and what would your advice for potential founders be?
So financing a startup is a challenge. I'm lucky enough, I worked 5 years as a risk management consultant, so I had some money that I could put in myself. And then of course there's help from the government with Gründungsförderung. We're funded by the German government. They help us with the costs that we have. But really make sure to get insights, and there's lots of free consulting you can get to help you find the right program and the right institution to do that. I really can't cover everything.
No, that's good advice. Thank you so much. Yeah. So you would say that in Germany there are lots of options available. Do your research, and you'll eventually find
something. Go to the IHK. They know everything about it.
Okay, great. Thanks, George.
I completely agree with Judith, because I think Germany offers really nice possibilities, like the government itself, to fund the idea. Of course, you have to use all of the available resources there are. Visit those kind of events, for example. In our case, we used everything which was related to Unternehmertum, as well as LMU Entrepreneurship Center, and we tried to approach as many people as possible, because of course it's really difficult to explain. First of all, it's really difficult to actually tell your idea, what you have in your mind, to the people, so they understand it in the same way as you do. And it's really difficult to explain and tell the story. So you have to be really prepared, and it's kind of matter of practice, because after 3 to 4 talks with investors, for example, you are really ready to answer the questions, because mostly their questions are almost the same. So you find out after the first and second talk what you are missing, and actually it's very important to understand their points, because it might be even possible that you have to change the certain part of the business model, which was also a case in our with Sol's mirrors.
I think it was very frustrating talking to investors a lot of times. Like, we didn't have one for 9 years. That's probably the reason why maybe we just sucked at it. But like, what was your approach?
Yeah, as you said, I think there's really a lot of good possibilities for startups just from the state, from Bavaria also, and there's so many institutions like Buy Startup that can help you, and those institutions can also help you find investors if you need some. I'm in the middle of this process at the moment, so I can't tell you if it's successful. And if
how did you finance the Frische Manufaktur? Your own funds, or? Until
now, we financed it with the Exist Gründerstipendium from Bundesrepublik Deutschland.
That's, I think, 2,500 euros a month or something per person?
Exactly. You are allowed 3 founders, and you get a monthly payment, and then you get 40,000 euros for developing things, more or less.
Awesome. So I think people can maybe find you on LinkedIn if they have any questions about financing. Cool. So I think we have an iPad with questions. No, there are no questions. So maybe we have some questions from the audience. I think we can share one mic up here, and I hope no one will kill me in the back, but I hope this works.
One question to Jenny, because I also founded a food startup last month, and we're gonna do our own manufacturing and using the special technology for longer shelf life as well. Did you? It's not a fruit salad. We have quite a different name, so no worries about that. Was it the own manufacturing because you talked about getting this machine? Was it your original plan to do manufacturing on your own, or was it more like outsourcing and you couldn't find one to produce for you?
Actually, in Germany, I think there's about 360 professional manufacturers of fresh cut fruit. So I think we can find somebody who produces this for us. But at the moment, I want also to give it to somebody to produce it. But at the moment, it's difficult. Like, at what point do you switch to a big production? Because, yeah, it depends on how many quantities you need. That's what they need. So, but I think as the shelf life is so short, all over Germany there are producers, and probably it will be the same. I don't know what your product is, but it's when you have short shelf life, there's all over Germany people producing it, and there must be one who can do what you need.
So do your research.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the audience? Yeah, there's one in the back. Maybe you could do it standing up really quick. Oh, the microphone's coming. Thank you.
Thank you. We heard in the talk from Thomas before about ways to launch a digital product even before it's readily developed, and there are still maybe many flaws to it. How do you see that in the world of physical products? Would you recommend that as well, or would you say, a physical product, it really has to be fully developed and it has to be ripe and perfect?
I think it depends on the product, because the so-called MVP, many people told us, mentors as well, yeah, you have to build an MVP and just sell it. And I mean, in the beginning, when we didn't have any experience at all, we thought, okay, we will do some questionnaires and we will create. It should not be that difficult. But in the end, it's really, really hard to find out what's the MVP, and it depends completely on the market. Because, for example, in the fitness industry, the MVP standards are really high, since it's psychology-based. It's in our case, it's even a combination of a hardware and software, which means everything has to work in a smooth way. Because when you train and something is going something is wrong, that's it. You lose your motivation, because during the training you are stressed, and mirror should help you actually to not to be stressed. And if it's not working properly, that's it. So in the end, when you test it, you have to when you test your own product, you have to have this idea that yes, it's ready, and you get this idea after you have already conducted some tests with other people, and actually, in the end, you are the expert of your own product, and you are the one who can tell it in the best way.
So really quick, Judith, would you agree?
Yeah, for my product, I completely disagree, because the product is all about smoothness of functionality. It has to look perfect. That's USP that we're selling. So when I go to the market with that product, it has to be the nicest and most beautiful and most simple headset out there. And so we're not launching anything that's the first prototype, it weighed 10 grams. You can't wear that on your ear for a long time. So that's not what we're
will
selling.
get way longer all the time.
So I will be the one wearing them every day. So if there's anything about them that is either not looking nice or not functioning right, I'm the one who's annoyed first. So it will get fixed. Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience? Yeah, it's always in the back, and there's one in the front. So maybe we could start with you. 2 more questions. So, and we haven't forgotten about you in the back. We'll find you really quick. Do we have another microphone? Thanks.
Hi, thank you. I have a question for you, Judith. You're having a headset that means it's wireless transmitting signals. How do you get the licensing and all the radio frequency stuff from the authorities?
Actually, we need to do the CE certification. So any product that is sold within the European Union, you need to have that certificate. And in order to know which tests you have to conduct to get the certificate, it's just actually 2 tests. So there are some specialists who have the testing machines. You just give them your product, and they will give you a green light in order to sell it. If you have also a product, I will also recommend talk to the IHK. They will let you know exactly what kind of license you need. Yeah.
Cool. So thank you very much. Our last question was in the back. If you could raise your hand once again, that'd be nice. Thank you. So the last question.
Yeah, it was clear in the MyMüsli story, and I also heard a bit about the prototyping for Georgi. But how do you test? Because I'm a bit confused with it needs to be perfect before launching. How do you test that there will actually be traction if you wait, let's say, a year before you bring it to the market?
Sounds like a great closing round. Like from everyone, really short remark. You want to start?
For us, we did a lot of tests all the time, and we also tried to sell it even though we didn't have the machine. We were packaging it in the minced meat packaging, and then when we went to, we had like a little booth where we sold it, and then we changed it in the morning into the new packaging. Then we always had to say, okay, this product is normally lasting 8 days, but this one not.
Sounds great.
This was really complicated to explain what we were doing, but we knew at least the packaging looks nice and people like it, and people still think it's fresh even though it's 4 or 5 days old. This was really important for us.
So do the best you can as long as you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so George.
In our case, we conducted our first pilot project to actually test the product in a fitness center too early, but it was really good because like when people came to us, they tested the product and it was obvious that it was not finished because they said, can you put this and that and so on. For the second pilot project, we tried to implement all of these main features in the prototype, but we couldn't manage it on time. So when the people came, we were like you imagine now it would show this, and then imagine this, and like there were too many words like imagine. So like what we did then, we had enough information from the users. So what we did a research for the fitness centers to get the information as well. So we mixed it. So the version we will make it now, we are pretty sure that it will be enough and it will be full, so we don't really have to, like it will be really a better version of the MVP. We don't have to say like, now imagine this and that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, with us, we're a fashion product, so testing is like, how would you like a headset which looks like this? So usually people go like, yeah, cool, that would be really nice. And as far as functionality tests, we have to be a bit more closed up because the headset that we have right now, which is programmable and testable, looks like a spaceship. So we can't really show it. But yeah, we're there, and we have people come to our offices, and then we can tell them, okay, that's not how it's going to look like, but just listen how it feels like, how you like it.
Cool. Thank you very much, Judith, George, Jenny. Big round of applause, please, for the team.